I'd like to call the meeting of the Townsend Water Commissioners meeting of November 21st, 2024 to order. TCAM is recording this meeting and we'll upload it later to YouTube, to the town's YouTube channel. 1.3 roll call of board members and others present. Todd Melanson, Chair, present.
Nathan Madela, Vice Chair, present.
Jessica Fanioli, Clerk, present.
Dave Vishon, Superintendent, present.
And Mr. Carey is present but does not have audio. 1.4 Chairman's addition and deletions. There is one addition that I just got either today or the other day. We do have a new liaison from the Board of Selectmen. It is the newly elected Board of Selectmen member Laurie Schifrin. So Dave, have the staff send her the meeting packets like we did with Chaz, or if we did with Chaz, but at least make sure she gets the link in the agenda. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So we have 1.5 approve meeting minutes of October 8th. I do have one comment on it, but I'll take your guys first. Did you guys get to review those, and are you okay with them?
I'm okay with it.
If there was anything, I was thinking it's the wording about the intermunicipal, but I'm not. I thought it was wanted to. The way it's written, I don't know if it could be taken either way, and I would like it to. I think, from what I understood, what you were speaking about is that you would like to preserve a specific part of it, not preserve just the way it is. So I'm not sure if that's what you're touching upon or what you're thinking.
I kind of buzzed over that because I was joining the meeting, discuss.
Or perhaps I'm not recalling correctly.
Hold on.
What number was that, Nate?
Yeah.
That is
that 3.1 expresses concern for the board to make sure they protect the intermunicipal agreement that was instituted. Regarding. I would change it to intermunicipal agreement process and leave in that way. I think I like that, Nate. That's a good catch. Thank you.
Where is that? Can you just tell me what that is so I can let her know and she can.
So on the second page at the top, it said TM expressed his concern for the board to make sure they protect the intermunicipal agreement that was instituted with a. I would change it to intermunicipal agreement process that was agreed upon by the two boards, our board and the water, because there was an agreement or a process between our board and the Board of Selectmen. So I would that's what I would say anyways. I don't know how to word it better. I would just say that was agreed upon between the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Water Commissioners previously.
Okay.
And the change I had, and I don't know if it's nitpicky or not, but the new town administrator, he came to us from the Arlington DPW directly. His previous experience before that was in Concord. I just want to be just exact.
What number?
1.4.
1.4 at the end. It says Water and Sewer Division in Concord. He actually came from the Arlington DPW.
So then I move that we approve the meeting minutes of October 8th, 2024 as amended.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. If there's no further discussion, roll call vote. Todd Melanson, aye.
Nathan Madela, aye.
Jessica Fanioli, aye.
Get rid of that. 1.6, I did not see any correspondence. And I don't believe there's any additional people here for public comment. If they have trouble getting in and they get in later, I recommend we take them as if they do come in. We don't have anything for section 2. Agenda item 3, 3.1 is review draft budget and draft rates for FY26. Dave was kind enough to give us both a view of what the 5% would look like and the 7%. One thing I do have a comment on, Dave,
Yeah.
is the meter tampering on the 7% one. You adjusted that. We cannot, by Mass General law, it's set at 1,000. That one we cannot touch.
Okay, that's fine. We'll change it. That's easy enough.
No, I know. I had some other ideas, but I don't want to manipulate it. I wanted to give Nate and Jessica a chance to chime in here.
Are you looking at a packet item? Because I'm not seeing anything for our budget. Or are we going off of the previous agenda's packet?
It was on the 7th.
I'm looking at the packet that it's in the 5 and the 7s in the packet that Brenda sent. That's what I'm looking at.
But we're not.
15. It was a packet. Everybody got the same thing. I email it all together.
It came in, I think, November 15th.
Yeah.
It's like page 12 of 31.
Yes.
All right. I'm going back there now.
Quick question. You're totally against the 7% anyways. So we'll just throw that whole thing out and then that takes
Okay.
care.
That takes care of that.
well, yeah. One of them he did an increase on the meter tampering charge, and one he didn't. I just want to make sure everybody knows we can't touch that one because it's set by law.
Right. Okay. All fixed.
That one. I have some other comments, Dave.
Okay.
Dave really wants to push this meeting through.
I know. Next.
Did you find it, Nate?
I have an email from the 8th with, I believe, is where the packet is. Oh,
It
no.
would be the same.
It would be the same.
It would be the same packet, but I did send one on the 15th to everybody, even Dave.
Okay. I want to look at that one. I want to make sure we're on the same page here.
But the
No,
8th is
sir.
the same exact thing, except it doesn't have anything about rescheduling the walkthrough.
Okay,
So-
I see. Yep.
Yeah.
I
All
got
right.
it here. Okay. All right, I'm here.
All righty. So we're looking at the 5% because I just don't think we can do the 7%, to be honest with you. And I'd rather keep us fiscally responsible with our rates in our budget. And I think we've done a good job at staying at that 5% or just below it. Keep in mind, I mean, we were looking at double-digit increases all the way through the initial rate study that we approved and that the Board of Selectmen approved way back when we started this. We've done, I would say, as a board and with Dave's help, I think we've done a good job of being well below those numbers consistently. But given everything that's going on, I kind of balked at doing a 7% if we can do a 5%. I think that's, with the town and everything else, fiscally responsible.
I also, Todd, heard the presentation that the school did. I think it was Monday night. that they're going to be trying to push for an early override for early this coming spring, like over the winter, February, March, something like that. So they're already going to be going for an override. So people override this year, override next year. I can't vote on a 7% increase right now. People can't
All right.
afford it.
So, I would say we stick to the one that Dave's proposed at 5%. One of the things that bugs me on some of this, and see if I'm off base here, but like I do agree with including the fees and stuff in that rate increase, because it does it lessens the hit on the rates. We can keep the rates of the actual usage lower by doing it this way. And with all these other fees, whoever's coming in to build or do businesses that would end up getting charged those, that would go into their calculation of their project as it is. One of the things though is on some of them we're down into the cents in on fees and stuff like that. I'd rather just round to a whole number. I don't know how you guys feel. So like you have a turn-on fee of $55, and the 5% increase is $57.75. To be honest with you, just to round it into a flat dollar number, rounding it up to 58, and
I want to tell you, on all that stuff, we lose money.
No, I know. It's in that's
I'll round it up to 60. Is that okay? We don't get many of those.
No, I know.
We're still going to lose a lot of money by doing it.
Go ahead, Nate.
I mean, for a turn-on fee, how many hours does it take to turn on water?
1.
Okay. Does anybody make $55 an hour?
You can't go by that, because
If you do,
let me explain what's called hidden cost. When we pay somebody $35 an hour, we actually have to charge 70 because insurance, vacation, all the hidden costs. So yes, we give the employee 35, but the cost to that employee is actually 70.
Okay. So further on that point, what I was going to say is that, yeah, I understand that that's like if you're making a profitable business. I totally get that. You know, we don't want to be in the negative or taking and absorbing costs. But if nobody's turning on water, what is that same person doing for that hour? They're doing other things around the town. Now, is that making any money?
no, but
Probably not.
that's.
But it's preserving, you're running the operations of the department.
But-
So that's my argument to that.
But you're taking people away from doing that work, and that work gets put off for something else. And sometimes it can be put off as overtime.
So I've seen, to be honest with you, like the average turn-on fees that I've seen to go out and turn on, turn off, is $100. You've got to, if you're factoring in municipal costs, and in part we're trying to preserve the fiscal stability of the enterprise account, and I don't know. I mean, like the labor fee and all that sort of stuff, that's if we go and we're doing work on someone's property. The meter testing, I mean, a lot of our charges are well below what the average is, I guess. And I'd like to preserve that as much as possible. So I don't see like I wouldn't go all the way to 60. I'd just round it to 58, to be honest with you.
But I just want
But let me finish, please. I'll recognize you, but let me. I would round those up to the next whole dollar and not go all the way. And
okay.
the only other one I had questions about was the water restrictions. instead of doing a percent charge, what I've seen is the first notice be a warning notice in writing. You leave it on the door or you mail it, whatever. The first charge or first actual fine is $50. The second is $150, and then the 300 is your top. And that's kind of what I was going to propose. Nate?
I had asked last meeting or one of the last meetings how many of these were issued in the prior years. Did we get an answer on that?
That's easy. How many fines were? None. No fines were issued.
Okay.
Did we give written warnings?
Knocked on people's doors.
I don't see any reason to raise them if that's the case. The system works with the amount set.
I agree.
All right. I'm willing to go with Jessica. Do you have any opinion one way or the other on it?
I agree with Nate.
Good enough. Is everybody okay with rounding some of the labor stuff? I wouldn't mind keeping as like a dollar and cent ratio, but the basic fees of rounding them to the next whole dollar, is that acceptable?
I would counter with rounding down to the nearest dollar.
Jess?
My vote goes to rounding up to the nearest dollar.
Okay. So sprinkler charge, we would round up to 30. And that makes sense to me, to be honest with you, too, because the sprinkler charge, that's the fire sprinkler charge, correct, Dave?
For the fire suppression, yes.
So I'll explain my reasoning, Nate and Jess, is water systems aren't necessarily set up to deliver drinking water in terms of their size and the other infrastructure you have, storage tanks and stuff. That's all set up to deliver fire protection pressure. And that's never, ever really recovered unless you have these sprinkler charges. So that's a cost of these larger buildings, mainly the commercials and the municipals and things like that. So that one would go to 30. And that's actually size at main size at the rate of $30 per inch per quarter. That's actually, if you do the math, it's actually fairly low. I've seen some that it's based on square footage and they get fairly significant. So we would round the next whole bracket from turn on fee to backflow testing charge up to the next whole dollar. So you're looking at 58, 88, 88 for that set. Hydrant use, if we're going to use rounding, scientific rounding, I would say leave it at 236 and take off the 25 cent. The same for the next three. So we're going from 225 to leave it at a whole number of 236. Meter valve replacement, that's based on a labor charge. So I would leave the cent on that one. And that would be my only changes.
I like your changes, Todd. I agree.
Nate, you got any comments? So the hydrant use, I'm just trying to understand this. You were saying also round those numbers
down. If you use scientific rounding, any 50 and above, you round up. 49 and below, you round down. So that's why I was trying to stay consistent with my. All right, I think differently. My brain works scientifically, so I would have rounded to, like I said, take the 25 cents off and round down that way to 236, and then all the others, because they're 50 cents or 0.5 or better, round up. And that was what I was suggesting. Yes, sir.
I don't remember scrutinizing the hydrant use in past years, and I'm not sure if that section is new. or if the verbiage under the explanation of the charge is new, but I would like a delineation on the part where it says $110 fine for water used, or $101 fine for water used. Is it just if any water is used, you get charged $110 or $101, or is it at some sort of metric?
So so if I'm reading this right, if you use a hydrant, one, you're going to have an unauthorized connection, so you would end up with both charges. To be honest with you, but that is so. What it is usually if you have like a contractor, and he's doing work that he needs dust control, or he needs to use a cutting tool that's going to use water. Usually an entire apparatus to send. It's a meter with a backflow. So any water that comes out of that hydrant can't come back in like you do in a lot of other buildings and stuff like that. It protects the water system. That's actually a fairly significant investment. Backflows are, fairly hard to maintain. Also, they do have to be inspected once a year before they go out. So the 225, plus water used. The water use would come when the meter is brought back. The reading is taken, and you do the math, and they get charged for whatever water they used. Dave, is it based on the block rate as well, or is there a bulk rate for these?
So let's go for each line. The hydrant use is someone that calls us and asks for the hydrant, something to be put on, and which has a backflow. We have meters that fit on hydrants for backflows. The ones for unauthorized use, and it happens, somebody goes up to a hydrant that has a hydro seeder truck, fills up the truck with no backflow whatsoever, and just takes the water, and without permission, which is stealing the water. So you get the regular hydrant use, and you get fined $110. And if you can find out how much they used, which you can't, you get charged for that too.
So that I think you answered my question, but my remaining question is the if part. So basically, if you find someone stealing water or using unauthorized hydrant use, 225 plus 110 if they used water, like if you caught them in the act and they didn't charge the line, then it would be 225. Or what's our definition of use? Or
if they're hooked up to the hydrant,
tampering, perhaps. I think I should make a note that when I'm finished after our walkthrough, and I can finish the rules and regs, I would like to supplement the definition section to make sure we can delineate and make sure the board agrees on definitions for use, tampering, water used perhaps would be a good idea. So as you said, 225 plus 110 and water used. So would you charge for it?
But you can't.
Right. So if you did, you say, hey, you used this many gallons of water, you would charge them for what Todd said earlier, block rate.
Whatever tier 2 is.
All right, so that probably should be put on there, is that at tier 2.
Right.
All right. The other one is 101 a mistype? Should that be 110? Should they both be 110?
They should be both 110.
All right, so that would get corrected.
Yeah, and just so you know, on the top, I forgot when I did the 7%. The unit charge will be. I didn't do the unit charge, and I'm going to do that real quick because.
It's $2.50, I think, if we're doing 5%.
You're correct.
So make that 53.
Right. Okay.
With everything set as we did, I'll make a motion to accept the draft budget and draft rates as amended. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Well, I have a comment. I would like to see the residents pay not more for water.
Okay. So here's the problem is that,
It was just a comment. I just want to make
It's just
sure
a comment,
this is
Todd.
known.
okay, good enough. I'll take a roll call vote. Todd Melanson, aye.
Nathan Matala, nay.
Jessica Funnioli, aye.
Motion passes and the 5% increase in draft budget is accepted. So 3.2, discuss opening ceremony. I think in the last minute meeting, if I'm right, we, where did I put that? There we go.
Can I address this real quick?
Well, let me just, I want to make sure I'm remembering
I had it
correctly. Let's see. I think we did, I'm more right now. I want to talk about the dollar value. And I think it was not to exceed more than 3,000.
Right, it didn't get voted on.
Okay. It doesn't mean that's how much would be expended, but that we should put a cap on what we're going to expend. What is your outreach budget, Dave?
None. But that right now there isn't one.
Okay.
And that never has been.
All right. Well,
That's on the professional services.
all right. So in professional services, when we work towards next budget, we're actually under the water conservation standards supposed to have an outreach budget. That's kind of where you can take like your cost expenses for the CCR out of. But we are supposed to be doing like outreach for cross connection. We're supposed to, under the regs, do stuff for water conservation. If we're not, my biggest concern going forward for us is keeping what water allowances we have under the Water Management Act. And that means sticking to the water conservation standards as much as we can. And there's some that we just can't do. But these are simple ones. And now I'm not going through this budget again and adding it, but that is definitely something we should take up as a point for next budget. So Dave, well, let's get that out of the way. What does everyone think about capping it at 3,000, but having the board approve the final expense report for the opening ceremony?
Well, if I may, I think
Yes, sir.
I think if we're gonna spend any money, it should be maybe vessels for the wonderful water that we produce, and maybe some lemon.
Okay.
And keep it well under 3,000.
And that would be the goal. I would say, you mean like plastic water bottles?
Well, no. If we're gonna,
No, he's
invite
talking about using
people,
tap water.
let's use our water.
No,
and
no,
have
that's what
some
I mean,
Nice
but-
vessels for it. I don't think we should put.
No,
like,
that's what I'm
bottles.
saying is that when you said vessels, I'm talking empty water bottles that we fill up with our tap water.
No. I'm not saying we're going to become a bottling agency. No. I'm just
No,
saying if we're
no,
going to have
just
an
for-
event, well, that's an idea. That's interesting. I don't know, but
So
Like
what I was
plastic
saying,
cups with our water? Like plastic
Yeah,
cups with
yeah,
our water?
cup
Like just
or
so people can just
something.
take?
something
Well-
that's not just a solo cup. Yeah, maybe, but not something that wouldn't break the butt. If we could find something
No,
that was
they-
cheap,
they-
that had a little sheen to it, that says, hey, you know what? We're just going to highlight what this is. It's for the water. It's for the residents. And forget the food, forget all that stuff, forget special diets. Let's just keep it simple, stupid.
So I would say what I've seen is for a lot of these and they're not expensive, Nate. You can get them done and have them in bulk at fairly inexpensively. and have either the Townsend logo on it, the Townsend Water Department logo on it. But they're little like plastic bottles. Usually they're like a clear blue with a blue cap, and it's like a Gatorade bottle for the sports kids, but it is something that the residents could take home and have. It's something to consider, at least get prices on and see what it would cost us. How many water take, how many people did we have at the ribbon cutting? I think we had maybe 30 or 40.
Oh, no, we had more than that.
Did we? About 100 then?
45 to 50, but the residents about 40 to, and then there was all the other dignitaries. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is much bigger deal than groundbreaking, but I listened to you from the last meeting about cars. So one of the things I was going to propose, I actually wrote it up and it didn't make it in.
No, I had it, Dave. I actually saw it in the packet. You had it opening like shifts. Whoever signs up for that first window, they
Right.
get to go. We can park wherever and bring them. Like I said, I really don't want to overtax the residents of Cooperage Way and Harbor Trace. That was the whole big kerfuffle when we started this. Everyone thought that there was going to be 4,000 cars down there and all these enormous vehicles all the time. So if we can do something off get rates from Debbie's bus company or whatever the bus company is and see what it would cost. Jessica, yes.
It's on page 19 in the packet, just so
Thank
if
you.
you want to look around.
So the whole idea is, I don't think we're going to get a lot of people in any shift, but if we split it up, you're not going to have a lot of traffic. And if you do it like an hour and a half to 2 hour shifts, and you can sign up for it, and then it just breaks it up and keeps the traffic down.
You know what we could do too to keep costs down too, Nate, is do this early. Do the shifts early, and then that way we would have an idea of who was or how many were coming, and that would dictate and how long we would actually need any sort of transportation. No, I kind of like this. It won't overtax the residents that live in and around the plant. It'll help us monetarily plan, because if we do it early enough, we would have a good idea of how many we're attending, so we don't have a lot of leftovers and things like that, or any sort of waste. And I do, that way, like the dignitaries and stuff like that come, they can drive and park there. And then we bring in the residential base. And that way, like I said, we don't overtax everybody. I mean, it spreads it out over a decent period. But depending on how many people sign up, it may not even be that long. So I like that idea, Dave. And that way, Nate, we have a better idea what our expenses are going to be. I like the keep it simple, stupid. But I do think that we should have something there. Because there is going to be some sort of ceremony that's there. If we want help in the future, and God knows we're probably going to need it for other things, I would like to make sure that we are appreciative to the legislators, especially, and if some of the DEP dignitaries show up, it does help to have or foster a good working relationship with both groups. And I will say, this is something the community should really and truly celebrate, because this is probably one of the biggest community-wide supported ventures that we've done as a community. And I where I don't want to go hog wild, but I do want to make sure we cover our bases and make sure that we thank the people that helped us got there, including the residents, and make sure that we do celebrate it. So, I'd like to make a motion that we set a cap not to exceed 3,000 for the opening day, and that we accept the scheduling of visitations as Dave has outlined.
Just so you know, I propose sending it out in the April 1st bill,
Right.
and you'll have to.
Do that in the discussion. I made a motion, please.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dave, now you can bring it up in discussion. You said you wanted.
So you send it out in the April 1st bill. You have to
Yep.
till May 1st. Then at the town meeting, for people who show up to the town meeting live, we'll have some for anyone who missed it in the bill, because there's some residents that show up that are in apartment buildings and they may not have gotten the bill, but those people will have a chance to sign up at the town meeting, and then we close out and then the next week we have it.
So I will add to that I would like to see a flyer and have the flyer up on the town website and put on social media on the town water department's Facebook page. I think in doing that, maybe doing that prior, do that in March. Do the flyer on the town website and the town social media, say in March, and then formally announce it in the April meeting, like you suggest, on the bills and in the town meeting. I think that way we've covered our bases. I like that idea on the bill, but the bill's great as a regulatory check mark on trying to notify people. I'd rather use the town website and our social media presence to do that. So the motion.
But not everyone's online though.
Yeah, that's true.
So if it goes out with the bills, then, because there's a whole section of elderly that are water takers that I know a lot of them don't have access to.
So what we also could do is, Dave, if you could print off at the office, what I would say is some of the flyers. I mean, you PDF, you can do everything on PowerPoint and make them look really well, but drop them off at the senior center. Drop them off at the library. You don't have to do many. I'm talking maybe printing 10 copies out, but that's actually a good point. Pull it on the bulletin board down at town hall. I know a lot of elderly people go down to the clerk's office, the Board of Health, and they're always in town hall for a reason or another. So I think if we put it there, I think we'd get
especially in the tax office. If you put like a bunch in the tax office, because everybody goes in the tax office, they pay water bills in the tax office.
Right. But yeah, and I'll drop them off at well, I have an idea of how to do this.
Okay.
We'll make sure it gets out to as many people.
Can you bring the flyer to either the next meeting or the meeting after before we send it out so we can look at it and approve it?
Yeah, can we do that in January? Next month, I want to talk about the tank.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
So that'll be January, and that'll give us a couple months to implement it. Okay. But like I said, the last chance to sign up would be at the town meeting. It will just announce if you haven't signed up, just go to the back and.
Well, I would give them at the town meeting. That's usually on like
it's going to be May 6th, probably.
Right.
Tuesday, May 6th, because it's the first Tuesday in May. Yeah, it's the first Tuesday in May.
Why don't we at the meeting say if you don't give them till Friday, the end of the week, to sign up of that week, not just at the end of the meeting, because I don't know.
So that'd be Friday, May 9th, 2025.
Yeah. I think that's because we're kind of, some of those people, like we said, that we saw even with the board of the special election, a lot of people didn't see it, even though it was out and about.
Right, but I proposed having someone sit in the back and actually take appointments right there. As the last.
Jess, can we do stuff like that there? Does that violate? any- Okay.
Yeah, no,
All right, just-
no, you could set up a little water department table and just as
Okay.
people check in, or put it downstairs where it's not, because it's a whole cluster on the second floor during town meeting check-in. So maybe
Yep.
on the first floor, as people come in, you can have like I don't know, a poster board or something, just saying this is for sign up if you're interested, and people can just sign up down there. Like outside of
Dave,
our
will you
office
already-
type of place.
Will you already be in the new office?
Starting tomorrow.
Really? All right.
So that'll be at my update. Uh-oh.
All right, good enough. All right. I still think we should give them a couple days after, because someone may need to schedule something or whatever. So I would prefer we hold the cutoff for some. All right. Discussion is ended. My motion was cap it at 3,000 and following the I'll call a roll call vote. Todd Melanson, aye.
Nathan Matala, nay.
Jessica Funioli, aye.
Motion passes. All right, now where am I?
Am I the only one that
Do
sees
either
Todd
you
frozen?
have a
I see him
update
frozen too.
or a report? Nothing was submitted.
Oh.
Fudge. I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
You keep
We can hear
freezing.
you, Todd. I just can't see you. You're frozen.
Shit. If you can see me, that's great. Nobody really needs to see me anyway.
You're back.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
Dave, when you talked to IT about the website, it was brought to my attention that some of our information had not been put back there when they did the website over. A water taker called me and said they had to find my business listing to get a hold of me to contact me. I previously had my phone number on there.
Right.
so I'd
That's
like that put
not
back
that's not
first.
our IT. That's the
Oh, okay. It's
That's the
yeah,
town's
right.
building.
If you're going to have them go into the town website, though, can you just mention that, please?
Right. We have over and over again.
Would it help if I called?
Well, you know what? Why don't we wait?
Talk to the liaison.
Yeah. You know what?
Good idea.
No, I'm serious.
Yep.
Call her and get. Yes, good idea.
I have emailed the
Excellent.
All right.
occasions, Nathan, and he said he knows about it and he's working on it. That's all I can do right now. So I have emailed him a couple of times.
Okay.
Well, since
Good. I know it took years the first time, so.
All right.
Same way, yeah.
So, all right.
I gotta ask Jess to do it.
Did we lose Jess?
No? Is she
Oh,
talking about the
there
other
you
Jess?
Which Jess are you talking about?
No, me.
Which Jess
I
are you
was-
talking?
all of a sudden, my whole screen changed all of a sudden. And
Todd, I think
All
it's you.
It usually is. All right. Since we don't have a liaison, there no liaison report. We will go to agenda item 6, superintendent reports.
Okay. There we go. Number one, treatment plant.
Point of order. Did we skip over
Yes, sir.
1.3? I'm seeing that we added discuss rescheduling walkthrough, but I don't remember rescheduling a date.
No, we took that off.
Oh, that's not on my.
Okay, so
That
we're
was
still
taken
still
off.
on for Friday
For tomorrow.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, perfect. Sorry about that. Proceed.
Right, just so you know that there was a thing, it wasn't gonna be, things weren't gonna be finished, like the floor, to be able to walk on it, but that changed. All right, so the plant opens tomorrow, like I'm moving my computer over there tomorrow, and I get all the keys tomorrow. The garage will not be finished.
No one approved the budget yet. I didn't see anyone approve the budget, the actual
I
budget.
did,
Yes, we did.
Yes,
They
we
voted.
did.
The rates
In
and
the
fees,
motion
As
to approve
amended.
the rates,
rates and fees, but I never
yes.
No, she's right.
No,
We
I-
voted on.
actual
just-
budget with like,
They mentioned budget too.
Okay.
oh, I didn't see anyone look
We
at it
did.
and discuss it, so I didn't know. Okay, you approved.
Right.
Okay, I'll change my thing. Thank you.
All right, so the garage has one more coat of epoxy paint. There's 4, and that'll be finished next week. So the garage won't be open until the December 2nd. And then the treatment plant.
We can look in through a door though, right? We can look in through a door to see
You
it,
can,
right?
you can go in the garage tomorrow. But they're going to paint
Okay.
the last coat and you're going to be off for 5 days. So they're going to do that over Thanksgiving Day and the weekend. So
Okay.
that's the last coat. Then the vehicle's going to be on it on Monday. The treatment plant floor will be done the week after. DEP inspected today. And we're just going to wait for 2 weeks for them to give us a letter to put the water into the system. Everything else got inspected today and all went through. Skater work will continue because right now we're going to have 2 skater systems until DEP tells us we're okay, and then we're going to have to meld the 2 skater systems together. Yes, we have to have one for the treatment plant, but we can't put it into the system until the water goes in the system. So we have to maintain 2 till we get to DEP sending us a letter saying
Yep.
put it out to the system. Witchesboro, so that'll continue through December. Witchesbrook well work will continue into all through December into January before it's all complete with the generator. Harbor Trace generator won't even be delivered till sometime in December or the beginning of January, and it'll be installed more than likely and finished by the end of March. There's
Dave,
a bunch.
Dave, because that was paid for with ARPA money,
No,
keep on.
no. That was Main Street. Main Street was
All
our
right. I thought we got money for 2 generators. Was that Cross Street and Main Street then?
we didn't have enough money to do Cross and Main. We only did Main Street because the price of generators went through the roof.
All right.
But we have a generator being put in for Witches Brook and Harbor Trace. Witches Brook is going to be put in
Okay.
in December. So there'll be all brand new generators. The problem with Witches Brook was that generator that was existing only could do 1 well at a time. And we only could run 1 well at a time because of all the piping. That has all been corrected. So we can run both wells at the same time if we need to. And there's also a blending pot. DEP inspection was today, waiting on the go-ahead 2 to 3 weeks. There's a punch list that will be done. There's a couple of paint spots here and there that hasn't been done. So if you see anything we're just waiting on them to do the punch list items. The water line's all done. So, and that's all completed and paid out. Meters are down to, we have 940 meters left in the system that have not been changed over. There's been a number of products that have been approved by the planning board. 108 Pittsburgh Road, which is 3 sets of duplexes. 1 Depot Road extension, which is 3 sets of duplexes. Starbucks at the old bank at Hannaford. And we're waiting on word from the gas station across from the Spalding School, and because that's going to get rebuilt with the drive-through.
Dave,
Those are,
two things. One, Starbucks made me think in Nate's conversation about the fines and fees. When I was going to work one morning last week, the entire lawn of McDonald's was covered in ice, which means their sprinkler system went off overnight. It was one of the nights we went down to the 20s or lower. What I would go in is make sure I would give them a heads up that they should have their irrigation system inspected because more than likely that froze as well. And when they turn it on next year, that system will leak like a sieve if they don't
blow it out.
make it fixed. The other is, retainage do we have left to hold on the whole project
What?
on the treatment?
Yeah.
You usually keep a retainage back until you have the whole thing incomplete. I was just wondering how much on the
2%.
project retainage, what they call retainage. How much?
2%.
2% of the entire project?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm losing you.
What are we looking for an increase in usage with the addition?
Can anyone else understand what he's saying? I lost him totally.
No, he gets
Am I
cut
all
out
right now?
every. Todd, you get cut out a lot, so we're trying to piece together what you're trying to say. Can't hear anything now, Todd.
This picture's completely black.
Todd, if you can hear me, just drop your video and just do audio. That may help with the bandwidth if it's an issue like that.
He said he's lost the internet. He's going to try it on his phone. Okay. So just give him a minute.
Thank you.
It's been a tough night.
Yes.
Tell him to try again and we can finish up because we've gone through all the other stuff, you know. Dave, did you finish all your superintendent reports?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Okay, then we didn't finish all that. Okay, let's see if he's.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. What I was saying was, Dave, do you know what the usage of those new additions are going to be?
Well, they're big regular houses, so you're talking the unit charge and probably, and there's no irrigation, so you're probably talking that each one of the 12 units is $140.
All right. Well, money wise, I was more worried about the usage in the volume, but that's not. All right.
So where we're standing as a town right now, over the summer, we used about 20% capacity.
Okay.
So we have 80% available water, which adds up to about 3 million gallons a day.
Are you talking about
surplus.
permitted capacity?
That's what we can produce. We can produce even more than that. But we're permitted for 3.7. We use between 600,000 and 700,000 gallons of water per day over the summer.
What did we max out, Dave, at the drought when it was that first year when we did the
Well,
increase?
that's hard because you can't use those numbers. But it was about 800,000. Because we put the tiered system in, that cut a lot of people down from watering.
No, I know, but I would mark that as your peak usage and kind of, it's just, well, I'll let you continue with your report.
Right. So, but right now it's about 700,000 this year was the peak day,
Okay.
which puts us about 21% of capacity.
How did the wells do with the recent lack of rain? We're doing okay. We're not drawing down too much or anything like that.
No drop in the water table whatsoever.
Good enough.
All right. So let's see. We're Pittsburgh, Starbucks. That good. EPA has just sent. We've been testing through the EPA for PFOS, and they sent a letter that Witchesbrook 2 has exceeded their limits, but it's down for refit. And when it goes back online, it will go back in the treatment plant. And so that is a non-issue.
What was the number they tagged you at?
P4 at 4.6.
So that actually doesn't come into play until 2028.
Correct, but what I said is EPA tagged it, but it doesn't matter because it'll be going to the treatment plant regardless.
All right.
When it goes back online. The next thing is we have.
Wait a minute. The whole regulation, correct me if I'm wrong, is based on a running average, not a single detection, correct?
Correct, but that's not the point I'm making. Right
All
now,
right.
it's being refit. It will be going to the treatment plant, so it's a mute issue.
All right.
We were sending it. We sent letters to 152 customers for money that from 2023 that wasn't paid, and that was added up to $144,000. A lot of those customers are repeat customer every year, and those are the people that use the lien system to pay their water as a deduction. So, but it's $144,000 for 2023. That does not include $1 not paid in 2024.
All right.
So,
And those are going to be lean, correct?
those are going to be leaned.
All right.
There are a bunch of people who are already coming back and making payment plans, and there's some that reneged on the payment plans last year that will not be given a choice. We're not giving another chance at the payment plan when you reneged on the one last year. So, but it's $144,000. That's for 2023 only,
Mm-hmm.
not 2024, and those people still owe money from 2024. But we'll worry about that next year. And that is it.
All right. Does anyone have any further questions for Dave on any of that? I can't. So the only one I can see is Dave. So I apologize.
No.
Lucky you.
there we go.
No
Nope,
questions.
there we go. Nope. All right. So why don't we go to 7.1? Schedule next month's meeting. So we should be looking.
December 12th is the second Thursday of the month.
All right. Currently, I have nothing scheduled for that. Jess, are you okay with that one?
I'm okay with that one.
Nate?
December 12th works for me.
So that is the date of the next meeting. Nate, could I have a combined motion.
Sure. I move the board review monthly abatements and adjustment list, review and approve end of month reports, and sign reports and bill payable warrants out of session.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote. Todd Melanson, aye.
Nathan Madala, aye.
Jessica Funioli, aye.
Motion's made and passed. Since we have no further business, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
I second. Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote. Todd Melanson, aye.
Nathan Madala, aye.
Jessica Funioli, aye.